is any claims that you guys have that we can directly tie to you. Some of you may see a credit, a negative on there. That means for the most part, you probably were a 0. We do have some amounts that we salvage. We're gonna allocate the amount that we salvage back out to you guys. So when we do our corporate, when we pool all the terminals together, it's tying to what we know we have. Any questions on the other expenses above, or operating expenses above? Again, this is the most important part of that section. So if you have any questions, feel free. Yes?
So on the payroll, does the payroll taxes and other are has its own separate line? Obviously the payroll is just the net payment to the employees, it's not the gross.
Yes. Am I understanding that? I think so, yeah. So, yeah, it's what's paid for. Yep. Any other questions?
Hold on, what are you asking again?
It's got payroll, the payroll on here for like office and whatnot, that would be their net pay, what they're paid on their check, correct?
No, like we pay separate taxes for the employees.
Which is,
So it's not the taxes they pay individually. We pay, whatever our wage is, they pay their own
So
taxes
the
on it.
payroll taxes and others, the separate. then
Right.
they pay those taxes.
Yeah, like that's
Like,
their portion.
Okay.
He's
did
talking.
did he answer your question then? Okay. Any other questions?
Really quick, on the driver or dock wage, how do we allocate like traveling costs when we have a driver that is domiciled at one location and goes to work at another location? Who eats that cost?
It's gonna be.
They have to eat, we actually have the terminal managers emailing Mike's department on that.
Yep.
How many hours they worked and what their wage was.
Yep. And that's the same for if you have any, I know we're getting it, it's called travelers, and I think it's when it's most people are staying overnight. If you have any wages that you know somebody's going there for the day and then coming back, I do not believe we're getting that information.
Bob Barry's been great at doing it with
Okay.
this.
So we're working on that.
We're still working on that.
But that would be one thing I would stress to you guys. Communication of that needs to be told to us, because there's no way for us to know person A went to terminal B. So it needs to be given to us. If they're hired under your terminal, they're very likely, without an adjustment, gonna be in your terminal, even though they're not working for your terminal.
Yeah, the reason's this, I mean, you're responsible for your terminal, and if you don't staff it, and somebody else has to come bail you out, those costs they're coming to you. So it's not a case of somebody can go pick up the bill for you, it's not gonna be like that. So, on the same note, if you're sending guys help, make sure you're sending that information back. We're gonna try to make it easier, maybe format it, send a request out once a month. Well, we need that information, so we take it out of your cost and put it on whoever's needing those travelers.
And that amount will be behind the scenes calculated. You're not gonna see a credit on your P&Ls here. It's just gonna be done. If you guys want proof to that, you can email me and I can show you the calculations or anything like that. I don't think we're gonna get that in depth, but yeah, it's gonna be behind the scenes on that.
And one other add-on is building maintenance will be charged much like that. So if you have a crew at your site for 4 days, we will build an internal system so that we can get it to Derek and he can charge your facility for building maintenance.
We're working on that piece. That's something we're working on. Yep.
Vehicle lease cost, is that fixed for just the number of units that I have, or is it by model year? Am I paying the same for my 12-year-old truck that I'm paying for my?
You're paying the same.
Paying the same. It's just one of those things, for simplicity's sake, we had to do. If down the road, when we have a little bit more time, we might work that in, but there's too many pieces to know that part.
Yeah, and hey guys, like that, we're gonna try to get better and more scientific, but these are our guys. But as you guys are looking at these, and as Derek goes through them, your real costs are in the labor. I mean, that's really where it's at. It's in your labor, it's in your fuel, and the way you impact it also is in the revenue and the quality of revenue. So we're pickups and gain in business. But we'll try to get more scientific as we go on all of the allocations.
Mm-hmm. Anything else so far?
Where is line haul labor put? Is that in the top labor?
It's in the line haul cost. So anything that
If you're pulling that out.
Yep. We're pulling that out again. That's behind the scenes that you guys simplicity say for this. That if there's a line haul driver, they're pulled out and put in that line haul cost.
But now at the same time, if your guy does P&D on his sheet first, they'll put those hours are going back into your local labor.
Okay, so the next section here is the other operating expenses, and again, these are costs that we know are directly to a terminal. Yeah, do you have a question?
Building maintenance, I have a shop, does that fall into there too?
I'm glad you brought that up. So for building maintenance, for maintenance that has a shop, that's gonna be pooled together here at this line. So it's not for a terminal like Rock Island that has it. The costs are gonna definitely be pooled in and then allocated out to you guys on a different level.
Who asked that question? Okay. You're talking about like facility maintenance, like something you.
Facility maintenance or repairs.
Right. Yeah, that's different than the vehicle maintenance. That's your building maintenance line, the
But
repairs
repairs to the shop.
Repairs.
Oh, repairs to the shop.
Like last month, they redid the sewer system, and that's probably about where that money went, on my report. I'm wondering if the terminal is
Yeah.
supporting the shop.
So what will happen on the shops, your shop cost, so let's say Sandra has to have 2 doors replaced or whatever shop, it's gonna go into vehicle maintenance, because our tractors, and he didn't talk about vehicle maintenance, but our tractors aren't domiciled directly to the terminals, so we don't have a shop at all the locations. So the shop will be a system allocation, so whatever repairs they have, so if John says his group spent X amount of hours on it, it'll go into vehicle maintenance, and then that will get divvied up by the equipment, and he'll talk about that.
Yep, yeah, so it'd be this line right here. Again, some locations only have, not every location has a shop. So those costs are getting pooled, so not one terminal is getting those costs. It's going into this, and then it's getting allocated back out to all of the terminals. And it's allocated on the domicile PUs right there, the tractors you guys have. Going back, so we're gonna talk about the other operating expense. These 3 lines, again, are stuff that we can directly know are going to your guys' terminals. The first line, the facility lease, that is the rent that you guys are paying and then the security for your terminal. So it's not something you guys can directly improve upon, really. It's just something we know you guys have to get impacted by. Workers' comp is kind of the same thing. It's not something you guys can really improve upon, but it's something we have to keep a track of and kind of go to that. The safety-related expense, right now in January, all that's in there is, did you have a question? Oh, sorry.
Troy wants to comment on the work.
Safety can be improved.
We can improve on it.
We can. So the way
Workers'
it's.
comp we all own, right?
Right, we can improve upon it, but there could be an incident that because we're gonna, yeah, we can improve upon it.
Yeah, but you won't see, on your workers' comps and allocation, you're not gonna, everybody's gonna have some of that, and we can absolutely improve, and we're improving on it, but you're not gonna see, if somebody gets hurt at your terminal, you're not seeing that person's hit yet. And we're not gonna let you know what their costs are. That's a HIPAA violation, you won't see that. You'll see a percentage that's allocated back to your terminal.
Based off system costs.
Based off system cost.
So yeah, thank you, I appreciate the correction, because we can improve upon it, but it's not something you guys can be like, well, be safer in that line, because it's gonna be a pooled amount that's divvied up to you guys. Safety-related expense for January only, it's gonna be your, it's gonna be the training, the testing and stuff like that you have to. Going forward, the safety bonus will be in here. February, I think, is the month we're gonna start it. We're gonna try and get it in there. So this number next month probably will be a tad higher, and that's gonna be kind of the reason why. This month, it's kind of in that corporate overhead right now, but not in there this month. Any questions on the other operating expenses there? The final things is what's getting allocated specifically to you guys. I'm not gonna go into the calculations of how these are done, but know what's in these parentheses is how it's getting calculated. So right there, we got revenue. So accident claims and expenses is revenue. So as your revenue goes up, if it's a bigger portion of the corporate amount, you might get a little bit more bump down here in the accident, the safety, the sales. And then the HR employee benefit is gonna be the physical headcount. So however many people you have at your terminal, you're getting, we know our total employees, we know your employees, you're getting a certain percentage of that. And then, same thing, I talked about the fuel, that's gonna be on the miles that you guys are driving. And the last one is the vehicle maintenance that we kind of briefly talked about, where we know the total buckets of those specific shops. We're gonna pool those all together, and then you're gonna get a piece of that pie based on how many pickup units that you have on that. Within the HR and employee benefits, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. That's your HR, anything at the corporate level, anything at the local level, let's go in there. Accident claims, that's accident claims group. Safety, sales, terminal ops, it's the corporate overhead people. And then the corporate overhead is kind of everything that's left over, kind of like that terminal overhead, that's at the corporate level, that's getting allocated back out to you guys. Any questions on that for now? Again, I didn't give you the detailed calculation of these because it's pretty complicated and not worrisome to you. Any questions? Okay, so the two things that are going to be coming to you also going forward is for the next rest of the year, you're going to have a comparative. So like you got January, you're going to get a February side by side to be able to compare and see where the trend is going. Next year at this time, you're going to have a mirrored one where you're going to have the report that you have in front of you, and then next year's report for January. Again, mirrored, just so we can get comparative. How are you guys improving or not improving, or what the case may be. Anything I forget? Anything? Any questions from you guys?
How long into the next month will it take before we get the previous month?
It's going to be a moving target. I think I got these done last Tuesday. What was that, the 14th? So roughly the 14th. It kind of depends on when the month end is. I would say in the middle of the month.
Initially, the plan was the 20th, but Derek's been pretty efficient in using some software to help grab the numbers quickly, and so probably mid-month.
Yeah, I would say if you don't have it by the 17th or the 18th, something drastically went wrong on my month. Our month close is usually 7 to 8 business days after, so you'll never have it until the 9th or the 10th, but you'll have it somewhere between the 9th and the 10th and the 17th roughly. And again, if anybody needs my contact info, because I know we're right after lunch and it's accounting and it's not the most exciting topic. So if I missed something, feel free to reach out to me. I can definitely help out in any way possible.
So before Derek goes, do you guys have any other questions? But I know it's new, and I know you gotta take some time to digest it. Your directors will be, working with you slowly and looking at it. It's a guide, remember that. But what other questions are on your mind?
For those terminal managers that are freaking out, the best way for your OR to lower it is revenue on your empty runs. It's the number one way to lower it, because you gotta bring your revenue up to lower your ratio for most cases, if you gotta set costs with your labor. So if you have the revenue on your runs, pick up an additional $500 a day in that lane on an empty pedal run, that'll lower your revenue fast as anything.
And I wouldn't stress out too much right now about any of these ratios, because this is the first time you guys are seeing them, the first time anybody in our office is seeing them either. It's a way to get you guys the information that you need. Now, if in X amount of months we're still struggling, then maybe we can kind of readdress that, what I just said. But it's a tool for you guys to get better. And I know I said the break even is that 1.0. There's also some information there that you don't know. Do we have a terminal open and that we're creating revenue at another terminal too? So the goal is to break even and do better, but it's not always as simple as that.
What was the company OR for January?
I don't know if I can say that. Company OR, can I?
Yeah, the door transfer OR was 110.
110. So we've got improvements to make everywhere. No matter what your number is, we've got improvements to make. So.
And that was for the month of January?
Yes.
Question was brought up, how can we get an accurate account when he's got what you say?
Well, how do I know that everything I do, my terminal is being credited for, or it's being billed as Sturgeon freight?
You're not using another terminal's pros, are you?
No.
just make sure, I've seen a few of those floating around
Oh,
out there
yeah,
where they have their own.
absolutely,
still uses the
absolutely.
city
The loaner
for it,
trucks
that's
the
the
guys
old
will
guy.
use, and